Welcome to Judge of Ghana TV. Akwa Baba, Judge of Ghana TV.
We don't tell people who their leaders should be, but we do stand up with those who support the principles that lead to a better life. And that's why we're interested in investing not in strong men, but in strong institutions. Independent judiciaries that can enforce the rule of law. Honest police forces that can protect the people's interests instead of their own. An open government that can bring transparency and accountability. And yes, that's why we stand up for civil society, for journalists and NGOs and community organizers and activists who give people a voice. That's why we support societies that empower women, because no country will reach its potential unless it draws on the talents of our wives and our mothers and our sisters and our daughters.
That was President Barack Obama. And among the things he talked about was the independence of the judiciary. And he was talking to African countries, including Ghana at the time. This was in 2013 when he visited many African countries when he became the President of the United States of America. Nti sɛ wotie deɛ Barack Obama ɛreka na ɛkyerɛ sɛ adeɛ a ɛbɛma mpuntuo aba ɔman mu ɛyɛ sɛ court system no ɛbɛyɛ adwuma frenkyem ɛna obiara ntumi nkyinkyim ɔmo nsa. Na deɛ akɔ so over the last few weeks ɛwɔ Parliament wɔ Ghana ha. Ɛyɛ ama nkurɔfoɔ ɛyɛ adwene sɛ the judiciary is not independent in Ghana. Because wohwɛ sɛ na ɔmotumi akyinkyim mbra no a ɛnɛ mbra no a na akyekyere New Patriotic Party no ɛnɛ ɔmatumi ayi ɔmo ho afiri mu. Na ɛkyerɛ sɛ ampaniampa deɛ nkurɔfoɔ keka no kaa ma a ɛyɛ ayɛ nokorɛ sɛ the judiciary is not independent. Anyway, yɛnkɔtie deɛ Godfred Dame, Attorney General, ɔkaeɛ after the ruling concerning the 4 vacant seats in Parliament that was declared by Honorable Alban Bagbin of the Speaker of Parliament a few weeks ago, which has been a controversy, and Afenyo-Markin took it to the Supreme Court for interpretation, amongst other things, and how it was all settled. Let's listen to the words of Attorney General Godfred Dame.
Whenever the court speaks, it's as a clear and emphatic order. Even if it's a very narrow majority, that's the decision of the court, and that decision must be respected. And I'm saying that it results in a degeneration of our society and a destruction of our democratic order for anybody at all to refuse to comply with other Supreme Court. That's non-negotiable and something that we must all respect. I've heard some statements by certain political actors to defend that the case ought to be done and that there ought to be negotiation and all that. I'm quite surprised because indeed, firstly, I did not hear such expression of willingness to negotiate at all, or maybe such instruction to the Speaker or direction suggesting to the Speaker for negotiation at all, when the Speaker started embarking on this act. And I think that, for me, it's very important that the Supreme Court ruled on this matter, because it's something that has been occurring in this country the tendency for it to occur really was there. The tendency for it to occur again was there. It was necessary, or it was necessary that the Supreme Court came to this clear conclusion and determination of the matter. The meaning of Article 97 plus 1 paragraphs J and H. And I think we must all respect it. I think the Speaker of Parliament himself, to start with, indicated in his address to the press last week that the case raised very serious legal issues. Those were serious legal issues that matters body on governance in the country. In fact, so shock after shock at this refusal to even file a process. If indeed the Speaker of Parliament himself recognized that the matter raised serious legal issues, as he said to the media last week, where else would you have addressed legal issues but in the court of law? Where else would you have such a definitive pronouncement on the so-called serious legal issues that the Speaker himself recognized in his statement, done by the Supreme Court of Ghana? So as for the Speaker of Parliament, indeed, is law-abiding, I've known for a very long time, to comply with the decision of the Supreme Court. Said it's non-negotiable in every civilized society when an order of the court is given, no matter how highly placed or lowly placed the court is. Even if it's a magistrate's court, you have to obey until it is services aside. This, the American Constitution itself, is very thin, as we all know. Yet, that Constitution has survived over 200 years. I think that, of course, there are certain provisions in the Constitution that I think that ought to be amended, and I will express my views on it to the media. Article 78 clause 1, which enjoins the president to appoint majority of his ministers from Parliament, ought to be amended. There ought to be that flexibility. I think that certain institutions, for example, the Electoral Commission, NCC, and what have you, the appointment of their heads has to be with the prior approval of Parliament. But I don't think that it calls for a complete overhaul of the Constitution. And indeed, this Constitution is very strong. And it is one Constitution which even goes as far as describing the consequences of a failure to carry out the Supreme Court order. The Supreme Court order, the consequences are set out clearly in Article 2, clauses 3, 4, and 5 of the Constitution, that any person to whom an order of the Supreme Court is directed shall duly carry out same. And a failure to carry out such an order, of course, has the consequences of criminal punishment. In the case of the president, will even result in the president and vice president results in removal from office. It's an emphatic determination by the court on the matter, and the Speaker of Parliament has no option but to comply. I mean, I think that we must stop giving with one hand and taking with the other. As I said, it really amounts to double standards and an exercise in contradiction. For the Speaker of Parliament, in his address to the media, say that the case raises such serious legal issues and matters body on governance and all that, and then refuse to take part. Refuse to take part in the proceedings. I think in this country, we must recognize some people for who they are and what they do. This hypocrisy and double standards must cease. The Supreme Court is the final arbiter on all matters in the country, including an interpretation of the Constitution. Indeed, it is the only court solely sees reservation to pronounce on the meaning of relevant provisions of the Constitution. And the Constitution means what the Supreme Court says it means, and nothing more. It is the same in America, and as I said, America, United Kingdom, and all advanced democracies, that is the order that they respect. There's no way a Supreme Court will give a decision in America or United Kingdom, and then the Prime Minister, apart from expressing his disagreement with the decision, or the President of America, of course, he has the freedom of expression to express his disagreement with the decision, but he has no option but to comply, and they usually comply, and that is it. So first of all, some principles of law have been established well over decades. There's no principle of law argued in this matter which has not been established in this country. And indeed, if that's the case, then any case mounted which has in place those principles will be determined the same way. So I think that if there's indeed the rule of law, an element of it is predictability. It's not a case where a court of law will rule this way on account of the same principle of law, but rule another way on account of the same principle. So indeed, there must be some element of predictability. And I'm saying that indeed these principles that we consider everything in this matter, old principles. There's nothing. And for those who are saying the court acting a certain way and all that, the same people were those who were rejoicing when the court of appeal gave a decision acquitting their leader. Their leader was acquitted by the court of appeal. They were happy with it. And to date, he's able to make all those arguments in Parliament because he has been acquitted. and I did not raise any issue with that back to appeal. I did not say I'm not going to respect the decision of the court. I respect the decision of the court, and until the decision is set aside by the Higher Court, the Supreme Court, that decision will remain binding on all. So we must stop this hypocrisy and exercises in contradiction. As I said, that when our reaction or attitude to court rulings depends on how palatable we deem it. We can
That was Honorable Godfrey Dame, the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana. Now, let's listen to Honorable Ni Lante Vanderpoel, the Member of Parliament for Odododio constituency under the National Democratic Congress, NDC. Let's listen to what he had to say about the Supreme Court judgment concerning the 4 vacant seats saga.
The member of parliament for Odododio is also on the lines with us. I mean, you heard your colleague member of parliament. What is your take on the Supreme Court's ruling? And do you believe that the speaker would comply? I mean, having known him all these years.
Well, thank you very much, and let me say a good evening to listen. The Supreme Court has ruled. It's fine. Every Ghanaian has that responsibility to respect the ruling of any court of competent jurisdiction. Every Ghanaian has the right to also appeal against any decision of a court. But in this ruling, we in the NDC have nothing in this case.
Okay.
We've not gone to court. We're not a party to a suit. We're not any of the defendants in this case. We don't have anything to do with this case. The suit was on the speaker. So it's the speaker who has the right to determine whether he wants to respect the decision of the Supreme Court or not. As far as we are concerned,
okay,
we, today, as we speak, are the majority in Parliament because the ruling and the information that was given by the Speaker to the plenary on that day has not been waived. If judgment has been given by the Supreme Court, that judgment should be effected on the Speaker of Parliament so that the Speaker of Parliament will come to the House. Because decisions affecting Parliament are taken in the House of Parliament and not in the Supreme Court. So, whatever decision the Supreme Court has said, whatever orders the Supreme Court has given, will be served on the Speaker.
All right.
And the Speaker is so minded, he will come to the House and review his decision that he made. As far as we are concerned, as of today, nothing of the sort. And as far as we are concerned, we are coming back to the House only after the elections on December 7th. We are not coming to the House to do anything now because we are busy with our elections and our constituencies.
Honorable, hold on a minute.
The Supreme Court cannot come.
If Speaker Bagbin calls you in the next few days, the minority is not coming back to the House?
Even when the Speaker calls us, we have the right to say we will not report. Because by the timetable of Parliament, we're supposed to go on recess so that we can have time for our elections and our constituencies. Note, our vacation is our vacation. We have the right to decide that we want to take our vacation and not to report to Parliament.
All right. So just so we are clear, the minority has decided not to come to...
If they have moved a motion, to come to Parliament, we are also have the right to move a motion and say we are not coming to Parliament because of the importance of the elections in our various constituencies.
All right.
So, as far as we are concerned, if they want us to talk anything like coming to Parliament, they should pay us money by asking us to come to Parliament in the next three weeks. We are not coming. We are concerned about elections, and we shall only come to Parliament after the elections. That is one. I want them to take that, and that should be at the back of their mind. We are not coming anywhere around Parliament until after the elections. Two, We want them to understand one fact, that as far as we are concerned, issues about minority or majority are determined by the numbers in the House. So when we resume, the numbers will tell whether we are the majority or they are the majority. This is not about the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, the case which went to the Supreme Court is there. But our standing orders and the Constitution tells us what constitutes majority and minority. So it is not for the MPP or the Supreme Court to define for us who are the majority or minority in Ghana's parliament. We have our own procedures of determining who is a majority or who is a minority. When they were declared majority by Speaker Bagbin, did they go to the Supreme Court to see that declaration?
No.
So the truth of the matter is that we don't have any interest in the suit. We don't care whatever decision has been given by the Supreme Court. That's between them. That's between the Supreme Court and the Speaker and Afenyo-Markin, who went to the court. I heard Afenyo-Markin talking about engagement. If he knew that one of the most important procedures and processes of arriving consensus in the House is engagement, why didn't he engage and went to court?
Honorable Neelante Vanderpoel of the National Democratic Congress was asking why New Patriotic Party would now want engagement after resorting to the Supreme Court. I think the answer is obvious. New Patriotic Party want to remain the majority in Parliament by hook or crook. And they resorted to the Supreme Court to retain that position by crook. Enti ni Lante Vanderpoel of NDC obisa se adena sesei no umedi nkunim no was Supreme Court. New Patriotic Party lepe se omone National Democratic Congress engage. Se omenya de omo hwehwe. Enti sesei de omo pese omo no mokasa. Obi a woyɛ sisie bia saa na ɔyɛ ne nneɛma. Every bully, every corrupt person does their thing that way. Wonya de ɔhwehwɛ wie no, na afei de ɔpɛ sɛ ɔbɛsere na ayɛ te sɛ ɔwɔ engage wo. Saa na ɔmo teɛ. Esisie, nipa a ɔpɛ esisie na ɛyɛ saa adeɛ no. Nti ɛyɛ clear deɛ ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo yɛ. They want to come and laugh at you because they feel that they've managed to outmaneuver you, but it's just a temporary thing. It's practically 3 weeks to the general elections on the 7th of December 2024. So, the omo yeno enkosi aga because say no omana tete apansam no. Minim say enya ade a Ghana for beto aba ama National New Patriotic Party because oma bon mine no. No mo wi aye kama. Yes. Me say partisan politics emboa Africa emboa Ghana. Since 1992 yɛnhwɛ yɛ man you 32 years between the duopoly National Democratic Congress and New Patriotic Party because of partisan politics. Because partisan politics no any Africa and Ghana enko. Hwɛ even Asia for no a ɛnyɛ partisan politics na ama ɔmo etu mpɔn o. Ɛnyɛ partisan politics na ama kuro no a develop you. Ɛyɛ unity government. Nti na debi ame kamfo Alan Martin ne Afrafranto butterfly movement for change. Omo unity government to say that is the pathway for Ghana to excel. Say fast akwan no so a ɔman no betu mpɔn. Me say nkrofo PB bisa me say now me kasa me support Alan John Kwadwo Martin. Nkrofo bi say oh me say me vote. Me say me vote sen. Now we have an alternative to the duopoly. in Alan John Kwadwo Asante and even other independent candidates. But I believe that Alan has got a sound plan in the Great Transformational Plan. And a krataa no a Alan de ato hɔ no, a heavyweight krataa. Emu odu, yes, emu odu koraa kyɛn manifestos of National Democratic Congress. Any new patriotic party. Alan plan no deɛ, ɛyɛ papa paa. Cause wɔkyerɛ wo timelines. Ade a ɔbɛyɛ year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. Nipa a ɔpɛ sɛ yɛ holding accountable. Accountability is one of the things, and transparency is one of the things that President Barack Obama spoke about when he came to Africa in 2013. Ehia pa 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 pa. So ɔman bɛtu mpɔn a, there must be accountability and transparency. And we can only get that through unity government because Ghana ha yɛnka nokorɛ. It is all your partisan politics they will cover criminals. Akromfoɔ no cover wɔn, whether it's New Patriotic Party or National Democratic Congress. Now say unity government there, because everybody is working Ghana first. And found party away. So name adwuma na yɛde wobɛhyɛ position. Na sɛ also wobɛyɛ adwuma no na wobɛwie sika adi nsɛmfo ayɛ corruption, bribery and corruption there. And deɛ nkurɔfoɔ no ɔmo ne woyɛ adwuma no, because ɔmo free wo party no, ɔmo bɛyi wo ama wo to ada hɔ, ama mframa afa so fa hɔ. Enti, ɛyɛ very good. Unity government is very good. And unfortunately, or fortunately, the only person on the ballot paper, the presidential ballot paper on 7 December 2024, Oka Bibi Efa this Alan John Kwadwo Asante. Yes. And Alan, ne plan is comprehensive. I will never vote for a candidate who can guarantee me clean water and clean food. Alan has written in his great transformational plan how he's going to eradicate galamsey in Ghana. And he has the wherewithal because Alan also saw galamsey so. And will be in a circular or ye galamsey. I will feel so or cover no, on cover. And enye galamsey and a finance Alan John Kwadwo Asante ni campaign. The movement for change campaign for presidency. And he doesn't have any allegiance to galamseyers. I almost say yensio any yasase. For yen any yenchimba. Yes. Alan doesn't have any affinity for galamsey. And it's also obe to galamsey ase. Meaning say ono na obe to me to galamsey ase. Na New Patriotic Party na National Democratic Congress. Some of their MPs are doing galamsey. Some of their big wigs in their party are doing galamsey. The galamsey that is going on is 50-50 between New Patriotic Party and National Democratic Congress. Is galamsey money they're using to finance their election campaigns. So, omo da galamsey dware. Enom galamsey. Because enona ama amwaye big. Onon galamsey sika na ama omabaye duopoly. Na se yedi omochi a, yɛbɛpɛ sika na yɛku yɛn ho. Na nsɛm a wɔkeka wɔ wɔn manifesto, New Patriotic Party say bold solutions, ɛna National Democratic Congress say reset Ghana, ɛne 24-hour economy. Na yɛbɛyɛ den ayɛ saa nneɛma yi a wɔn okay. Sɛ yɛyare a na yɛwu a, wɔahu nipa a wɔawu a ɔyɛ 24-hour economy, and ɔyɛ bold solutions. Hwɛ, the most important thing in life is life itself. Enti me ka kyerɛ mo ene de bia meka say obi a want to mean guarantee wo clean food and clean water onye bibi mfa ho say obi galamsey efiri And the opeso kum. Inti me no me vote ma obi a obekume. Me vote ma Alan John Kwadwo Asante. Simple. Inti me ka na wonte ase koshepo. Yes, koshepo because the American nyansa wom. Without life you have nothing. Without life uni hwee. What you say? Nti also what you have to live and live healthy. Because your health, good health is your wealth. Nti say me obi ani sa presidential listing from 1 to 12 all guarantee me clean water and clean food. And I watch kwan obefa so. A obema sa ade na abam live and colored. Gise Alan John Kwadwo Asante. So mo se me boa go to alanchiramatin.com.org alanchiramatin.org na download the soft copy of the great transformational plan na kenkan nsɛm a ɔrekeka no ɛfa deɛ ɔbɛyɛ wɔ Ghana no ɛwɔ mu especially galamsey. So the number one reason why everybody should vote for Alan John Kwadwo Asante, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, is the eradication of galamsey because sɛ yɛntu galamsey ase a biribia nni hɔ a yɛbɛyɛ wɔ kurom ha Ghana ha a ɛbɛyɛ yie. Ɔman no bɛbɔ, yɛnaa yɛbɛwu, yɛnkyin bɛwu, environment bɛsɛe. Nti adeɛ bi a ɛmbɔ yɛ ho ban, ɛma yɛn live healthy no, ɛnsɛ sɛ yɛsosɔ so. Nti me deɛ, me vote ama Alan John Kwadwo Asante. And I don't think it will be a wasted vote. Kɔfɔ no ɔmo ka no, munim deɛ ɔmo keka. Nka Beninfoɔ vote for independent candidate. Nka ɛnɛ ɔmo independent candidate as president. Ɛna independent candidate a ɔmo vote wɔ Benin no, wabɛma kuro no abɛyɛ krabɛhwɛ. The numbers are evidence of how good it is to have unity government. And even the Bible says that without unity, you cannot stand. Jesus said that a house divided as against itself cannot stand. Look at what is happening in Parliament. Because there's no unity, they are fighting over where they are going to sit. This is what the fight is about. Whether they'll sit on the right side or the left side. If we're all fighting for Ghana first, doesn't matter where you sit. But because neither the New Patriotic Party or the National Democratic Congress are fighting for Ghana first, they are fighting about where they're going to sit. Yes. And that is what the winner take all syndrome and the chief whip system of partisan politics. And people should stop trying to make out as though partisan politics is only applicable to New Patriotic Party. It is equally applicable to National Democratic Congress. They are the duopoly. And they have divergent views. And their views are not beneficial to Ghana because they don't have any plans, any good plans for Ghana. That is why the country has degenerated over 32 years since 1992 between these two parties, 16 years apiece. They've ruled. Enti ma obi ambegyina ho enka say these people are doing us anything good. NDC is better than MPP. Oh, right. Maybe in the time before President Akufo-Addo came to power, and from what we know now, the statistics were better. But it doesn't mean that it is the best. The best system is unity government, and it's been proved in many, many countries. You go to Singapore, it is unity government that has led to the prosperity of Singapore. And many, many countries in the world who were even poorer than Ghana in the 60s. As I always say, Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore came to Ghana to get Apo, to get a blueprint, the blueprint of how to make his country great from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And he applied it to Singapore. And you see how beautiful Singapore has become. It took him 30 years. Ghana has been independent for 67 years. Look at the state of our country. We're down in the gutter. And it's because of the bad governance of New Patriotic Party and National Democratic Congress. It is cumulative because no one would have voted for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to become president in the 2016 elections if ex-President John Mahama did a brilliant, sterling job. Because the people of Ghana were disappointed in the performance of President, then President John Dramani Mahama. We thought Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with the promises that he gave us, would do a sterling job. But once again, there's a saying in Tree, ano a yɛde bɔ bosia, ɛnyɛ no na ɛde tua. So this is the situation we're in. But with unity government, we have something different because it's about pooling our resources. And the Bible says in the book of Acts, the people pooled their resources and they were of one accord, and nobody lacked. If Ghana can pool its resources under unity government and be of one accord, Ghana first, then nobody is going to lack in Ghana. I like the fact that unity government is about inclusivity and includes improving the situations of everybody in the country, not just a few. That's the value of unity government. Intermediate, I will vote for Alan in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the night because I know the power of unity. Even God knows the power of unity. God said that if these people, he was talking about the Tower of Babel, can be united, then they can even build a high building that can end up coming into heaven. That is the power of unity. So we must vote for unity. Now, let's go and listen to Hobson Adoye's take on what happened in terms of the Supreme Court judgment. Let's listen. I think we'll get some important points out of there.
Was it up to 1 minute? It was about.
Oh, well, so your mom and then I'm the full details.
And then I'm the full details. It seems less than 1 minute or so.
Yes.
But sir, all the full details, Baba Brana, the way say no. I mean, at least can be big agra. 1 minute, no. I'm on 40, can be big agra. In less than 1 minute, you may say, hey,
That's election 2012 petition. That's
at what then they say cover 3 minutes if you want
we less than 2 weeks.
Ghana Supreme Court. Ghana Supreme Court.
Are they?
Well, say Ejomuna to be no kita so interpret. But my question is Sacross Article 97G.
Yeah.
Does it need an interpretation?
According to Supreme Court, it needs.
It doesn't. Baby, I didn't know. Just say whom we know. A whole interpretation about what would you tell?
Yes.
What kind 97 1G na?
Yeah.
What say if we start here, a member of parliament shall vacate his seat in parliament if he leaves the party of which he was a member.
He was.
Underline word was. One can say he is a member. He was a member.
Okay.
At the moment, I say, me were MPP, me call independent, you know. MPP constitution say that moment now can ye na no. Only a member of MPP.
Only a member of you.
So on it. You see, Ghana has a one.
Yes.
Sir President Yoma as a gentleman. Baba hit MPP back.
Oh, really?
And they will cry.
How? How?
What dear, ye na yan Toronto. That time no more opposition. The hiti or more or mubisu mama.
And then
Look,
who from Biana?
your party constitution, clear.
Yes.
Me manko kodwane alambo the time ye medino. Na me kodwane no.
Oh, okay.
Let me say I sympathize with him, but I'm still MPP member. The video is there.
Oh, really? One declare intention, po.
David Kenny said, well, you're good man. I sympathize with him. But
See.
I'm still an MPP member. One radio TV station been interview me. The video is there.
I see.
Sir, my imagine say me sympathize with him keke no.
And no cry enough.
Yeah, true. I made that interview on the 8th. Let me to Kwayako US.
Okay.
8th November.
Okay.
Me kaye pa. 8th November 2023. 20th November. My birthday. And you issue statement. He said, yeah, they are Pamu free party. No.
Wow.
Me declare say, me sympathize with someone. And I say, I believe in him. And I say, Bibisa no keke no.
And no kwa.
Yeah,
justification say you ready.
Obi ako say there or no ankasa contest against your candidate. What we say? Make us support to Obi independent and I say different party against your candidate. Ma forfeit me membership. Say nipa nankasa kwa kujina or new candidate kwa face. What say? Won't you what Supreme Court say? They are still members. Me say MPP constitution is now useless.
But I end this in the MPP now. Constitution says anything.
Na say NDC for no ka say omo je omo member no back. Omo de omo jina so say omo member no omo wa free.
But NDC almost made me over Konya some metro letter crat at send on which will be man. I catch no candidates Peter Kwakye Ackah say yeah you were because of stance now we're taking it. But almost one year.
Does it need a I didn't know come has it clear.
Yeah, constitution naka.
Constitution is clear.
But what you trying
Anna, some of them are MP.
Constitution is clear.
Till constitution is clear.
Yes.
Me say time on yes, I don't know. Lawyer be friend me say home say. Mami for mon papa to be win your and I say I don't need it.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah. Me catch him say I don't need it. So the mere fight of much run you okay. Now I have my exit me to be covered. Me to cover me. So who that you know? That is the way I share to honor. Look, a serious issue near Kanwazem. A serious issue. Now, 4 years back, you same party, you were jubilating, say, Obiako independent, ya pamono. Look at the way, I can't say.
Asiamah. Fomena MP.
Yeah, Speaker.
Yes.
Michael Kwe.
Okay.
Just said we walked out.
Yeah, sure.
What can say your cast were vacating the post into home free? Or new big kasa. Look at the way I was chanting and hold that day. I was sad.
I see.
Say, why should we treat this man like this? Say, why you not say we after all, I have or don't even say about being what a parliament in our kind. Now, or new big kasa. What chanting just like that. That time, it was good for them.
Yeah.
Because
they had
no more overwhelming majority in parliament. And the informal Anna Nipanokoye. One protest you. Anna ene. The same thing happened. Now, me so was suffer. Last 4 years was suffer.
Nipa prayer.
After we free independent, they said or contested on the ticket of MPP. Constitution is a was.
Yeah, it was, yes.
Eti wakono say we independent bi mu.
That be on independent bi.
Say we MPP member. So constitution no say one vacate with it.
Surprisingly, me ntwa wa no. Okọ Fomena sisi a.
Yeah.
Omo huri ejina Asiamah chi na during the time okọ independence ni na no. Omo forfeit omo position. Party ni pamo omo. Time Asiamah win wie ye no. Omo no mu di na chi ni na no me no kasa ba ko na ye constituency chairman sisi a. E dey mad the NPP. No ye constituency chairman sisi ona na campaign manager e dey ma Asiamah. Sisi ona ye chairman sisi a.
So it is a good for the cohort. I see one team in the Judgement.
It may be one simple question, sir. At the time I know my campaign, no more year primaries no. Na bisa say nti Fomena a orphan constituency and I say orphan constituency. And nobody could answer that question. And then I apem so ade be baby ye dress say ye ka ho asem.
Enti near MPP aye no. Aye so sad. Say well na ayama nkrofo asem a omo ka no. Say ye parke Supreme Court politically no. Na aye no kre. What I say?
Yeah.
Na aye no kre. LGBTQ. Asem na call Supreme Court no. Enti can't they find time like they did with this you know. What want to mean? I just yet now what that you don't go. Why you better what the Chief Justice at time for that so that. But wait there, you bet imagine no within seconds. I'm my judgment.
Yeah.
Look, separation of powers.
Yeah, sure.
I want the duties. The duty and say basse Agona Vacant or no and communicated to UC.
Okay.
See by election.
Yeah, sure.
Constitution is 3 months to elections. Won't mean by elections. It is will be vacating the post. A better horse I could say the next elections. So when you know. Anna Adia Bani had drawn attention. The constitution is clear.
Yeah.
Roughly, way. Was no, and so you hear legal interpretation of was.
Yeah, the shark crackle because the shark was Supreme Court. I mean, interpretation. It was the question.
But you see, this one is not talking about future.
Yeah.
Welcome when he say, we MPP need no call independent. Welcome, you are no more MPP. Welcome was, I didn't work on wasn't. We are independent. And we are and we are independent. Says we are party member. And no na constitution no come answer.
I see.
And it's the duty of the speaker to announce it or tell the say it in the floor of the house. Say, Sangrofo we, or more advocate or post. And to a mundi quines or more day, or move. Constitution here clear. Me who yentia. Look. No more can me. I'm not by any way say Master Dilo and I say no more can about Article 99.
Yeah.
Say High Court never determine who is validly elected in
yes.
And a problem about we say my B2 we see there be we see what a document. Now yeah they are court. Court to shemu no tie adanse ne ne kika mu nyina. Court no never bet say nipa si mesi there. Per the record or no, and they are elected as MP.
Yeah.
I don't know you're clear. And you're different from 1917 now. Who go for any other party? I want to get you post. One we say on jurisdiction, some of the 5-2.
Yeah, sure.
5-2 no, it should tell you say, SAT2 no more cards or more absentee on the jurisdiction. You should know say near air cost no, then you find papa so because. Anything to determine about the the status of the MP, it should go to the High Court.
Yeah, sure.
It's a year 10 and the Jampo High Court and a straight to Supreme Court. Say, I guess, I did a year and Tiasia. It's your interpretation and you're different.
Yeah.
That would be a once a walk back or stay of execution. Now, what's up? No, I mean, between one and just here. It's where you men, you're making an answer. MPP Ankasano, or more constitutional, or more render useless. It's no more effect. Is Ubiaka said, look, MPP 4 bet to my papa with Nabontis. I said, yes, opportunity of Bahama. Ultimate suspend you more because I take a train now, the best suspend you more. I don't know how they boss and go with whom I so yeah. That is what people go jump on Tinu. How can you suspend them? It means it's a constitution. Are you useless? You have Bibia wo constitution mu bia no party member bia pa wonni so wo just say obeje the opposite side ultimate je duhu
omo the party ne constitution started to form
wo just say that's all start you wo dia twitwi form
I see
wo dia twitwi form na wo shase ana wo kan me ohini nto ya abo bia Samuel Boniface mo say ya declare supporter ma obi a wo ko that time brother mo nya elect mo candidate
yeah.
I don't know lawyer na eka no. Was it sponsored? A candidate sponsored by the party.
Yeah.
Nana Munyan sponsor will be a no more primaries. So that time Nankasa no more years at the Grano. Obuti President Akufo-Addo wo ye lawyer, Unkrofo nyina ye lawyer, General Secretary ye lawyer, the organizer ye lawyer. Now my yesterday will because of a nibre ahoya. I don't believe yes I don't. And then once I be buaka museum, me say nyankopɔ bɛkɔ so atua MPP ka day in day out, day in day out. Now me say sade we omaye e be hete wo mo. Now Supreme Court decision we it is going to be something a kyerema gi na ba bɛka. Do omo tra panel so omo ye no sa no. O kyerema bɛka omo ho asɛm.
I see.
A brilliant explanation from Hobson Adoye, the Director of Special Initiatives at Movement for Change, Alan John Kwadwo Asante Movement for Change. It seems that if, and I believe what Hobson Adoye is saying is true, Hobson has just explained that Article 97, Clause 1G uses the word was, and was is a retrospective statement, a past tense. So it seems like, according to Hobson's thinking and analysis, it seems that in Ghana here, our lawyers and judges, and in general, Ghanaians have a problem in the true understanding of the English language, especially if they have successfully misinterpreted a retrospective clause in Article 97, Clause 1G, and have now made it a futuristic clause. I have said it before, New Patriotic Party is going to become a byword in Ghana, and that is not a good thing. The way they're doing things, that does not make any sense and doesn't appear to be righteous and just. If New Patriotic Party are not careful, one day New Patriotic Party is going to become a byword in Ghana. I believe that by this judgment, the Supreme Court of Ghana Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu has opened a can of worms by restoring the 4 vacant seats back to Parliament, so that New Patriotic Party has now returned to become the majority in Parliament. It's going to become an issue, a contentious issue. And, you know, when something starts off, it starts off little. Look at what happened in 2020. The Fomena MPP MP, Andrew Amoako Asiamah. It started off as a small issue, and then 4 years later, it became a far bigger issue that basically almost caused the constitutional crisis, or has caused the constitutional crisis. Hmm? So you can imagine, in another 4 years, if this situation, whether a can of worms has been opened, escalates, we should expect that this um, issue is going to be amplified, and it's going to be a free for all in another 4 years. And the matter is going to just be worse, get worse and worse and worse, until the correct thing is done and the right thing is done concerning Article 97(1), Clause 1, G and H. Either they remove it totally from the Constitution, amend it, or stick to it in how it is written, or else it's going to become a hindrance more than a help. And this Supreme Court judgment, which wasn't 7-0 but 5-2, there were two dissenting judges. This is where the Achilles heel of the entire judgment lies, in the two dissenters. This is going to be a problem going forward. It's like we're preparing problems ahead of time. We are packaging problems so that they become a bomb in the future. This is what we're doing here in Ghana. And this is a dangerous pathway and a dangerous way to do justice. Um, at the moment, New Patriotic Party are smug. Honorable Afenyo-Markin is very smug and he thinks he has outmaneuvered everybody and he's feeling very pompous at the moment. But I tell you something, this is a case of Job 5:13. The scripture reads, God catches the crafty in their craftiness. What New Patriotic Party have done, they think they are so wise, they think they are so clever, but God will catch them in their craftiness. For example, God caught them in their craftiness when they did what they did to the Fomena MPP MP by ousting them out of Parliament in 2020. You see how God caught them out in 2024? Going forward, God is going to catch out New Patriotic Party because this judgment is not right and it's not just. If you like this type of content, like, share, subscribe. I really want to grow this channel, so I would like you to share and I would like you to subscribe. I would like us to conclude this episode by examining the words of Frederick Bastiat. And it goes like this: when plunder becomes a way of life, men create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it. Is that what is that not what we are seeing coming from the Supreme Court of Ghana? Clearly, this 5-2 decision is lopsided. You have heard the words of Hope Sinadoye, and I believe we always have to look at the intention of the law, the spirit of the law. And clearly, the spirit of the law was retrospective. It isn't futuristic. But because New Patriotic Party needed to so badly overturn this law, they have deliberately misinterpreted it and turned this particular Article 97(1) G and H. They've misinterpreted it to mean it is futuristic. Even if you heard the words of um, former President J.A. Kufuor, he also sided with this lopsided interpretation of Article 97, Clause 1, G and H. And you saw how they deliberately wheeled out President Kufuor before the Supreme Court judgment, preparing people's minds of the corruption of the law that was going to take place on the 12th of November 2024. You see how they've legalized the system around their corrupt judgment. And 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, evil communication corrupts good manners. So when you create you utter an evil communication, it amplifies and the lie becomes the truth if you're not careful. Anyway, anything a man does, if it's not from God, there's a way around it for truthfulness to prevail. If you look at currently what they've done at the Supreme Court, a way around it is simple. If the independent candidates who have truly made up their mind to go independent want to make their stance clear for everybody to understand that what they are saying is not futuristic, but rather now, the way around it is simple. They have to nullify the Supreme Court judgment today and now. And this is a way, and this is how it goes. The Supreme Court says that they have interpreted Article 97, Clause 1G to mean a future action. Okay, so if the independent candidates want to prove that the actions are things they're doing now, all they have to do is make a declaration and sign it. It can even be an affidavit saying that they are changing their candidacy status now, today, November 2024, prior to the December 7th, 2024 elections. If they write this affidavit or declaration and sign it, then immediately Article 97, Clause 1G is applicable. It's applicable. Sometimes I don't understand our politicians who are manipulative. What they're doing in this country, they're doing what they're doing, this subverting of justice is being done in the wrong country. Ghana is the wrong country to do this type of thing. You know why? Ghana is a country that the eye of the Lord is upon. Nyame niwa wɔ Ghana so. Enti sɛ woba na wopɛ sɛ wokyinkyin mbra no a, you'll be found wanting. You'll be exposed. Ɛno na ɛkɔ so wɔ Ghana ha. Na me say nkurɔfoɔ na ɔmo akɔ independent no a, ɔmo awe ata so sɛ, come 7 December 2024, ɔmo kɔ ɛko no against the party they previously were at. So ɔmo twerɛ statements declaration and affidavit mpo na almost sign aseɛ sɛ argument na New Patriotic Party ɛde akɔ Supreme Court no ɔmo ne ɔmo nya adwen and ɔmo hu sɛ ɔmo asesa ɔmo candidacy ɔmo status now ɔmo nyɛ MPP for New Patriotic Party for ɔmo nyɛ NDC for ɔmo aswitche across the carpet already under this parliament enti saa judgment ɔmo de aba no ɔmo nhyɛ aseɛ ɛnyɛ ade ɔmo bɛyɛ in the future ɔmo yɛ no now ɔmo atwe ɔmo ho afiri ɔmo current party mu ɛnɛ ɛnyɛ in the future ɛbɛbɔ saa judgment yi a kululu judgment yi a ɔmo akɔfa afiri Supreme Court aba a ɛni gyinasoɔ the New Patriotic Party for in conjunction with the Supreme Court say almost sesa mbra no to suit themselves. And for a temporary time they have. Na meka ehye nyame animonyam say Dr. Baumia, Vice President Dr. Baumia, will say it is possible. Me may say it is possible, but enye probable. Say wo be the next president of Ghana come 7 December 2024. Na yen Ghana for yehu kululu a New Patriotic Party for eye wo kurom ha na ye be vote him out. You make things up on the spur of the moment and you twist things. Even if the square peg doesn't fit in the round hole, you will twist it and force it in. We have seen your handiwork, and we, the people of Ghana, are disgusted, and we will not vote for you. Come 7 December 2024, Ghana for dodoɔ no a majority will not vote for New Patriotic Party. Na mo deɛ, wonders will not cease. Ɛna daakye, mo saa nkurɔfoɔ wei a moyɛ the current leadership of New Patriotic Party. Ɛne mo kululu a moyɛ no, ɛbɛyɛ abakɔsɛm wɔ kurom ha. Na ɛnyɛ abakɔsɛm papa. Because ade a moyɛ no, ɛnsɛ mfata. Ɛnsɛ mfata. Ɛnsɛ mfata. Nti mede m'asɛm bɛsi ha. If you like this type of content, like, share, subscribe. Father God, you're the